I'll call the meeting to order. If you all would stand, face the flag, put your hand over your heart, we'll do the pledge of allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Digital,
Here.
Commissioner Wire,
Here.
Commissioner Corbin,
Here.
Mayor Denner.
Here. We have the agenda in front of us. Do I have a motion to adopt the agenda?
So moved. Second.
Any further comments or discussion? Hearing any, all in favor, signify by aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carried. Nothing under appearances acknowledgement. Do I have a motion to approve the consent calendar?
So moved.
Second. All in favor, signify by aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. We'll go down into unfinished business. Item number one, I'll open up the hearing on the resolution number 2021-30 sidewalk improvement 2022. Jameson, do you want to start off on this?
Yep, I can provide the commission some background and then Ryan can fill in any details I might miss. So each year, the city designates the section of town for improvements to sidewalks. This year, the sidewalk committee has started getting into some of the areas of town that are more difficult, I think it's fair to say, based on what's been done in the past. But they follow the same timeline and process they have in past years to recommend the areas that are included in this resolution. Each year, property owners have until about mid-July to complete the construction. They've been notified recently. Extensions are always available if needed to property owners. Trees are removed at the expense of the city, no cost to the owner. And if there's issues with trees, at times there are variances that can be worked out with our engineering department to adjust location of sidewalk if needed. Utilities that need to be moved would also be moved by the utility owner. So in many cases, that's the city. So we would move that at no cost to landowner. The same would be the case for any other utility providers. Staff work with those utility providers to complete. This year, we have some properties that are in the floodplain. Ryan could provide more details, but there's often no rise certificates that are needed for these properties to complete work at that in those areas. However, those certificates are obtained by the city at no cost to the property owner as well. If irrigation systems need to be moved, those are done at the cost of the landowner. It's not typically needed since a lot of times those irrigation systems are right in the corner of the property by the curb. But this resolution sets the areas that are to be improved for this year, and that's the bulk of it. But it also sets estimated costs and other details. Estimated cost per linear foot for a 4-inch sidewalk is $31.52, and for a 6-inch sidewalk is $35.02. I think that covers the bulk of it. Ryan, do you have anything else you'd add?
No, I don't think so. I mean, it's just, I guess the goal is to get, sidewalks throughout town, and we're getting down to the point where, some of these smaller areas, we've already covered our larger traffic areas and our routes to school. So a lot of these areas are kind of infill, connecting businesses and such like that. And I can expand upon the floodplain, as needed. But suffice it to say, it's difficult to do development in the flood zone, but it's not impossible. You just need to do the proper steps.
Thank you, Ryan. Is there anybody else that would like to speak?
Yes.
If you would come up to the table here and state your name.
I'm Antoinette Kluber, and I'm speaking for Bradley Brooks. He's had a stroke and I'm his caregiver. The address is 623 Southeast First Street, which we're at the flood zone A, where a lot of homes got flooded, which his home did this past year. There's a lot of empty lots from past floods. my question is, we're no longer there, but he still owns the property. We're in process of hopefully selling the property. My question is, it says install sidewalks by the 22nd of July of 22. Who does the installation on it?
Brian, did you wanna? You wanna?
Sure. So you can select your own contractor. You can hire them privately and they can come in and install that sidewalk. Or you can elect to have the city contractor do it. We bid out that work every year. And then that would then be assessed to taxes, or you can pay that one lump sum.
Okay, because it states here, his lot 1, block. Sorry. It's lot 4, block 16. And it says estimated total cost of $16,611. Is this the cost of the sidewalk to be done? Or
Yeah, that's an
that's the
estimated
total
cost based
estimated
on,
cost?
yeah.
Okay, so we're not able to have it done. I mean, we can have city do it for us and we'll pay the amount that's due for it.
Mhm. Yeah, that's certainly an option.
Okay,
We have a path for assessing it on the property tax as well, which works really well. It's a very affordable option. And actually, if I were you, I'd consider going with that way.
what's this? I'm sorry.
It would become part of the property tax and you'd pay it over a series of up to 5 years.
5 years.
Oh. Okay. Okay. So what's the next process on this?
I'd encourage you to keep working with our engineering office, and this is a good statement for any property owners that are in town here too, is our engineering office is great at working individually with property owners, and they can walk you through the process and answer any questions, and this has been something they've done each year, and so they're very good at what they do.
So, and then we, with this flood thing, we had go through FEMA and the SBA. And so we purchased a house from Mark Nelson and Terry Stephenson after the university. And I can give you my address. So if you could send me more information as to step by step.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, we can definitely help you with that.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Anybody else would like to speak?
William Bowing, my property is 502 Northeast Second Street, so I think it's project 2, number 2. You guys answered some of my questions, so I'm sure you guys all got my letter about this proposal here. I know a couple of my questions were about cost of tree removal, and my concern about one, the cost to do it, but it sounds like the city will pay for it. But then 2, taking away kind of the beauty of the city by just removing trees. It seems pretty uncalled for, again, like he mentioned, an area of sidewalks that aren't really that important. He said we're kind of getting down to the end where these are low traffic areas that people don't really utilize. And that's exactly the piece of property that I own. There's barely any traffic, even car traffic that drives on that road that your guys are saying needs a sidewalk. I also had concerns about the utility box. It looks like sounds like the city will pay to move that. And then I am also worried about the floodplain will or who has to pay for that, or who even has to do the work. Do I have to submit all that documentation? Because every time I have to do something like this, it takes time, it takes money. It's just a lot on me. So I guess in my letter, I kind of claim hardship, extraordinary hardship. I think the cost were a very gross estimate where you just, okay, we'll just say they're $35 a foot and this is what it's gonna cost. We took a tape measure out there and that's what it's gonna cost, but I think there's a lot more cost to it than people realize. Again, I have in-ground irrigation system, so likely we'll have to move that. Who knows what the costs are? And then I was just kind of disappointed with the city on, they gave me this letter on Wednesday and I had to have everything typed out with all my questions and concerns by today. He had to give us a month to like think about this, talk to people on how much it's going to cost to move the irrigation system. So then I actually had a better estimate, not just a rough estimate. Oh, it's just going to cost this much per square foot. And then I guess my last concern is if this is approved, is there appeal process? Will I be able to go seek legal counsel and appeal the process and move forward from there?
Answer a couple of questions we got from there. Okay. As far as the floodplain goes, I think Ryan, it's fair to say that our staff handled the workload as well as any costs that we situate. Is that correct, Ryan?
Yeah. That's correct.
And as far as legal counsel, we can't advise you on what to do there. That's, everybody's always welcome to speak to attorneys regarding any action that the city would take, but we wouldn't advise you on that. This is something that property owners have until July to do. Today is just the commission setting which areas that they're going to be doing, something that they do each year.
Okay. So what is the appeal process here if it is approved? So I'm guessing this is going to be approved today. What's the appeal process and what's the next step that I have to take?
I'm not aware of any appeal process. This is viewed largely as an administrative task, but again, as I mentioned earlier, you can work with our staff directly to talk about any concerns regarding trees or anything else you might have.
Is there room between the trees and the property line to squeeze the sidewalk in there?
So there's room, but it depends on which way you're gonna go. So either you can put it right up against the road, and that would work to save the trees, or you put it basically right up against the building and that will save the trees. Either way, something's gonna have to go.
I would estimate there's room on the east side of the trees to go behind the trees.
Correct.
And still keep it in the right of way.
Keep it in the right line.
Which block are you talking?
We're going north and south on the west side of your property. correct?
That's what I'm, right?
North to south.
Yeah,
correct.
it looked like it'd be pretty close, but you know, we try to save trees. It is unfortunate those are there in the right of way. It's awful close, but hopefully we can come up with a solution. It's always tough. I mean, I don't know how long the city's been doing this. I'm gonna say 15 years, but I've been doing it for 7, and swear to God, I've made 3 elderly people cry doing this, so I mean, it's actually going really well tonight.
There's no existing sidewalk.
The north-south, right?
Right.
I guess why yours would be of interest is it does connect with the college. I assume you'll see a lot more foot traffic once you have the sidewalk. It's been the case consistently for other homeowners. It's a goal of the city to have sidewalk everywhere.
So does that mean you're gonna put a crosswalk across Second Street there? So they can use it and cross that road?
Now, well, there aren't crosswalks every block.
Not that block though.
There are not crosswalks every block, no.
Oh,
There are
I'm
not
sorry, I thought you said there are crosswalks.
No, there are
Oh,
not.
yeah, okay. Okay.
On that crosswalks. I tried to get into it once. It involves the DOT, very complicated, I don't know.
I would suggest if this passes tonight, we'll talk to our engineering department, Brian. I'm in charge of that department too. You can visit with us. We'll try and work it out the best we can.
Mhm. Actually, I have one more question because I didn't know about this. Becoming part of your property tax, does that mean you can use your property tax to offset the cost? Or does that mean my property tax is going to increase for those 5 years to pay for the sidewalk?
It would go up.
Okay.
Just the payment, not
Not the
It's
tax.
an additional
the
assessment,
additional assessment to your.
but it's a very affordable option.
again, as Ryan stated earlier, you still have the opportunity to hire somebody on your own privately, completely separate from everything, or to have the city do it and pay us upfront, or have it assessed on your taxes. Okay. A few options there.
And if I go the 5-year route, is that like basically a 0% interest, or is there?
There's a nominal amount of interest, but it's, there's some, it's not bad at all.
We can get you that information in the finance office too.
Okay.
So. Thank you. Is there anybody else that would like to speak?
I live on the other part of town. I live on Southeast First. The big question is, why would you put sidewalk in a flood zone?
Well, there's green space and parks down there.
When you guys evaluated this, did you evaluate who lives there?
So we have a committee, we didn't actually evaluate.
Because most of them, I am a senior and I have a lot of senior neighbors. In the first place, they don't ever go for a walk. I can't go for a walk. And going towards Washington, on the corner, there's sidewalk on the corner. And it must be 15 feet, 10 feet from the curb. So I'm looking at that, and that's here's the curb, the street. It's clear over here. It just about would hit my house. That's how far back it is. And I've got a ramp coming for my health. So that sidewalk's gonna run into my ramp.
I don't know exact situation, but we try to accommodate all these situations. I feel like we can come up with a solution that'll work. We've got, I don't know how much room is in the right of way in front of your house, but there's not a set path. The sidewalk can move. a
The
little.
house is even with most of them. They're pretty much even. But for some reason, that guy in the corner he's the only one that has sidewalk in the whole block. And it's like,
What's your address?
pardon me,
What's your address? Your address?
620 Southeast First. You got a picture of it?
I'm looking at Google Earth.
Well, and I took this list. And when I bought that land, and what's the difference between a foot and a lineal foot?
I'll defer to the
There wouldn't
sidewalk
be.
guy.
It's the same.
Well, if it's the same, you guys are in trouble. Because when I bought that property, I had a 200-foot frontage. And I added the paperwork here, and I'm already over 250. And I'm trying to figure out, why would I put a sidewalk in between me and uptown? The next door, that house has been empty for 3 or 4 years already. I don't think it's fixable. And from my house to the next street, there ain't nobody except city property.
Is the city putting sidewalk in over in the corner then? Yeah.
So is city gonna put it in sidewalk
Yes.
in that corner?
Yeah.
We got it, we did get a bridge. You guys, thank you for the bridge because of the fact that the bridge is ready for the fallout. But it is a big concern because the seniors that live even in the 500 block, you never see. You never see them going for a walk. You never see. And I don't think there's 8 kids in those 2 blocks, 3 blocks. So it just makes us wonder why you would even want to put sidewalk in there. Because most of them people own those houses. There's only, I think, one rental. There's that. And kids don't use sidewalks. They use streets. So would you put a sidewalk in a flood area?
City
If the
Goldie.
city asked me to, yeah.
Oh, the city has to do it.
I mean, I don't live in a flood zone, so, but yeah.
But the city has sidewalk in flood zones, correct?
Yeah, we will install sidewalk and flood zones in this area. So I mean, we want to provide that access, we want to provide that pedestrian path everywhere. And, you know, you'd mentioned elderly folks and such like that. To me, that's all the more reason to install it there, is to give those folks a safe path, same with children. I think it's important that people aren't walking out into the street, that they have a pathway to walk, pedestrian pathway.
So we were just curious, like the house on the west side of me has been empty for 3 years. Nobody would live in that house. Because I'm not sure it's livable. So that landowner, whoever he is, they are, whatever. Why would they want to put sidewalk in there? Because nobody's gonna buy the house because it hasn't had any heat in it for, I know, 4 years. And it's really sad because it was a pretty good sized house. I've just lived in that neighborhood too many years.
I imagine they got a letter as well, Brian.
Well, if you can find the owner, well, I suppose the tax people have the owner. Because I'm not sure, it's
They've
been,
got the owner on their
Yeah.
software there.
and they don't plan, I don't think they plan on doing anything with it.
At some point, the city's contractor would install sidewalk and would assess it on their property taxes.
So if you put in $2,000 worth of sidewalk, how much is that gonna raise your taxes?
Well, you can pay it over 5 years, and then there's a nominal processing fee, so I mean. 400 some dollars.
Another question. Seniors can freeze their taxes. So how does that affect frozen taxes?
The taxes are really a separate issue. It's just that the property taxes are used as a way to collect the costs from the sidewalk. The sidewalk isn't a tax, it's the cost to install, and they use the property taxes to collect it.
Well, I was wondering how you guys were gonna get around that, because like I said, I deal with a lot of seniors, and it's like, I'm sure they freeze their taxes,
Sure.
you know. South Madison is such a rich county, city, you know. But I would argue at my footage, it's absolutely off.
Yeah, we can take a look at that. We can touch base with you tomorrow or whatever. We can go over where you want the sidewalk ideally on the property. You mentioned having a ramp. You want to make sure that you have clear space for your ramp. We can, there's area in the boulevard that you're able to meander the sidewalk around, for lack of better words. We can work with you on that.
Make a curve in there and move
Yeah,
it over by the
yeah,
curb
you'd be
where
able to
it should be.
transition that over.
Yeah. Because I only had a chance to talk to one neighbor and they can't come because they're working, and it's like, wow. I can't remember all the other questions they had, you know, but
Yeah, we certainly encourage people to, you know, reach out to us and any questions and concerns. We'd like to help people. Make sure that they're getting the sidewalk where they,
yeah.
that's where.
And the homeowners could put their own sidewalk in. So John should still be alive because him and I used to put sidewalk in.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Thanks for coming down.
That's about all the questions I can come up with.
They were good.
Wake you guys up so you can't take a nap now.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Like I said before, strongly, if you have any questions, reach out to Ryan or Dan up in engineering. We'll try and make this as painless as possible.
oh, yeah. Well, the only thing nice about that letter, you said July of 22. It's like, we don't want to try and do it in the winter time.
Is there any other hearing on this resolution? Not hearing any, I'll close the hearing portion of it. We'll move down into the new business. Do I have a motion to adopt the resolution number 2021-30 sidewalk improvement 2022?
So moved.
Second.
Hear any further discussion?
I just have a logistical question. I guess in the past, has the sidewalk committee involved in any of the complaints or the hearings or?
Oh, well, they get someone has a request for an accommodation, a tree, a ramp. They want a curbside. They take that appeal to the sidewalk committee.
And then it goes back for.
It comes back to us.
And yeah, they make a recommendation and then.
But Ryan, do you want to kind of explain how the variance process would work for people if they wanted to move the sidewalk or something similar?
Yeah, they would, touch base with our department and ask for that variance. And then we would coordinate that with the sidewalk committee, would go to them. They'd be able to plead their case and indicate what they would like to do. And then that ultimately would come as a recommendation, like I said, to the city commission and approved.
I guess all I have to say this, I think the sidewalk committee has a pretty hard job. They have to make some tough calls there, so. The commission's done a pretty good job of supporting the recommendation. But
What percentage would you guess we're at, Ryan, for the city being complete?
Good question.
Rough estimate.
I'm not, yeah. I wish Dan was here. He's got, his fingers on the pulse of that pretty good. I couldn't say. I can get back to you on it.
Or what we call a home stretch, maybe,
I
having
would say
everything.
that's true. Yeah, we've been going with sidewalk assessments since 2004. So, but not too many areas left. What further whittling it down now is we're trying to stay away from areas where we have other construction happening, so our RD projects. There's areas there with no sidewalk, but we're not gonna hit those landowners, twice, I guess, we'd say, consecutive years of construction, so those areas will be added in the future, but we're just getting down there where it's a bit more bits and pieces.
Thank you. Any other comments? Not hearing any? All in favor, signify by aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion carried. Item number 2.
In front of you, you have a copy of the supplement, the addendum or supplemental ordinance for the budget for 2021. Just going through it, mayor and commission, that one is, it covers that premium pay for non-essential workers and the CIP program or plan that we've been working on with ISG. Police, that 90,000 is the catch up for that 911 system that you guys approved earlier this year. Storm drainage, that 42,000 is engineering or professional services for creek walls primarily. Street cleaning, not sure if we have a separate account for that and why it's not just in highways and streets, but it is. And that's literally it's fuel and parts that make up that overage there.
I think they're events,
Huh?
for events, maybe special additional events.
Yeah, when I looked at those two accounts, there's just a couple line items in street cleaning, and one of them is fuel and the other one was parts for equipment, and they were Airport expense is they had purchased some repair radios out there prior to them coming out to check them in January. That's what that 17,000 is. That 90,000 transfer out is the estimate of the city's portion of the shortfall that they're gonna have for 2021. Parks and the Park and Rec Fund, insect control, it's just their deficiency for chemicals. Rec administration, this is unemployment for Lakin from he's been gone about a year and a half. That's just kind of the beginning of this year unemployment. Rec and winter programs, this is porta potties for the ice skating rink. We did not budget anything in there for that. So that's what that item is. The park areas is, oh, that's the new banners and stuff that are up. Second cent sales tax, that 170 is the Highway 30 turn lanes. And then the next three items are revenues that come into those and they go back out. The business improvement district, there's been approximately 32,000 that's brought into there. That committee has allocated 9,800 of that out. Tax increment, both of those two items, it's whatever comes in goes out until they're finished. The Grant Circle tax increment district is complete in 2021, so for next year that one will go away. And then the backside of that is just where it's coming from, which is basically primarily cash funds. We do have, you'll see that there's taxes for the bottom three. There, the 3,900 in the Park and Rec is grant funds for mosquito control. And then miscellaneous revenue, I believe that one's grant funds as well. Yes, into the general fund. The rest of it's cash.
There's nothing in here on, well, is there? We haven't started it.
There isn't, and we aren't over budget in that department. So, and so there's been less spending in other areas. We don't have to supplement when there's more revenue in there than expenses.
Motion to approve first reading ordinance number 1641, amend appropriation ordinance number 1624 for fiscal year 2021.
So moved.
Second. Is there any further comment or discussion? Not hearing any. All in favor, signify by aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. Item number 3. Jameson approved collective bargaining agreement Teamsters local union number 120.
The existing CBA collective bargaining agreement with the Teamsters Union is concluding at the end of this year. And so we have a new contract for approval before the commission tonight for the year 2022. It is very similar to the previous contract with small changes. It includes increases of 3% for cost of living adjustment, in addition to the 1.5% performance-based increase, adjusting the holiday schedule to add 2 days or remove 1 day, and updating the process for how we post positions and advertise as well as transfer employees internally. I think that's the bulk of the changes. And again, this would be starting effective January 1.
Thank you. Do I have a motion to approve the collective bargaining agreement Teamsters local union number 120?
So moved. I'll second.
Any further comments or discussion? Not hearing any. All in favor, signify by aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carried. No public comment, announcements. announcements. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So
Second.
All in favor, signify by aye.
I-
All opposed, motion carried. Have a nice evening.
Happy New Year, everybody.